Tyreek Hill's now in jeopardy of playing week number 8. I'd like to think this is a precautionary type of measure, but he was downgraded, and being downgraded on a Friday is never a good sign. So hang tight on that. We'll cover this and more. We've got Deebo Samuel, Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, Bigsby, Darisaw, Olave, tons of news. Jonathan Taylor off the injury report. JT time. It's JT time.
You've just been Smitty approved.
The Fantasy Football Show. Also, there's breaking news on the Lionheart. The Lionheart, let me just play it for you. It might be easier just to show you the breaking news clip from a news channel, local news channel.
Through sheer science and intense aerodynamic study.
Wrong clip. Wrong clip. We'll show that one in a minute. But this is breaking news on Lionheart. Carson Steele was an innocent man. He was detained. People thought he was the Lionheart. He wasn't the Lionheart. They caught the Lionheart. Here's the breaking news.
Breaking news, Carson Steele released from captivity after Lionheart sightings continued. Even while Steele was detained, they had the wrong man. Puka Nacua appears to be the Lionheart.
I am him.
When times get tough, they call on a beast. That beast rises up and starts to feast. Puka Nacua will sharpen and do his part, because he the beast is the Lionheart. He is the Lionheart. He is the Lionheart. He is the Lionheart.
The Fantasy Football Show begins right now. Tyreek Hill on the injury report, downgraded today. We're in panic mode, but hopefully it's just a precaution and he plays. Tua is back. That show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios.
It's the Fantasy Football Show.
Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern.
Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com news desk, here is your breaking news.
So, we'll find out more on this Tyreek situation. Foot questionable for week 8. Downgraded. Downgraded is never good on a Friday, but does not mean he won't play. Tyreek Hill is a special case, as is JD5. We'll get to JD5 in a second. Most quarterbacks not playing on a Friday, practicing on a Friday, don't have a great shot at playing on Sunday. But JD5 is literally a special case, and he certainly is going to potentially push this up until the final moment. Now, there was a reporter earlier. I'll get to JD5 in a second. Let me get to Tyreek Hill. So Tyreek Hill right now, I would say this feels 55-60% likely that he plays. I know a lot of people are going to be in panic mode. I'm certainly going to be monitoring the hell out of this. Waddle goes up tremendously in value. Achane goes up tremendously in value if let's say Hill's out. But there's also a potential efficiency knockdown for both those guys. And Tua, we don't want Tua's first game back to be without Tyreek Hill, although I think he'll still be pretty efficient and effective for the most part, but you certainly don't want this for Tua's first game back. I believe Tyreek Hill will play. We'll put it at a 60 to 65% chance Tyreek Hill plays. Being downgraded, usually a huge panic sign, but with Tyreek Hill, the way he's been talking all week, unless there was some serious injury that occurred and not just wear and tear that he's trying to rest his body, and he's older. Keep in mind, older players will do this sort of load management during the week, not during games, not on Sundays, but load management during the week, practice management, if you will. and Tyreek Hill fits that bill as an older player. You see it happen all the time with older players. Okay, so Tyreek Hill, we'll get to that. More news on Tyreek Hill maybe by the end of the show. I wanted to get to JD5. Where's my JD5 clip? Actually, let's get to this one first. Juwan Jennings will not play week 8. So that means that we're looking at potentially either a Pearsall breakout game or Debo returns, and that news is also kind of up in the air right now. Debo Samuel, wrist and illness, the pneumonia, the fluid in the lungs. He was back at practice, and it's trending in the direction that Debo is going to play. Now, that was going to hamper Pearsall because Jennings and Debo would be the 1 and 2, and Pearsall would play third fiddle. But now with Jennings out, Pearsall's playing the number 2. Debo's likely playing the 1. And you don't want Pearsall playing the 1. You want Pearsall in that number 2 spot with Debo out there. Maybe a little bit limited more than normal, but Debo will be out there, it sounds like right now, if I had to guess right now, the way it's trending. So Jennings being out opens the door to Pearsall. Make sure you put Pearsall in your lineup if you're in desperation mode. And even if you have like a couple crafty plays, he could qualify as the guy that gets the nod. It depends on how big your league is. But Debo Samuel, questionable, but very much looking like he's trending at least in the right direction. Alvin Kamara has been removed from the injury report. This is proof and evidence that the injury report is kind of a fugazi. It's kind of fairy dust. Does not exist in a sense because this man has a broken hand. Yes, he's been removed from the injury report, yet he has a broken hand. So do I trust the injury report coming from the New Orleans Saints go forward? No, I don't. He's got a broken hand. The broken hand did not get fixed, but they're taking him off. They're running him out there in week 8. Fully expect him to be an absolute monster unless he hits that hand in a weird way. Let's hope he's protecting it. He's got something on it. We'll find out. Rib injuries as well. He's suffering from everything. He's an older player. He's a 29-year-old running back that's taken a lot of abuse over the years. And he's also a load management midweek type of guy that you'll see sit out. So hopefully they take care of him the rest of the season. They don't work him into the ground. Kamara is a very good buy low prospect if you're walking into week number 8. I strongly urge you look at Kamara as a buy low if you need to do some sort of 2-for-1 divide and conquer method. JT, I've got right here. JT is off the injury report. This is probably some of the better news of the week. We've been waiting for this. And I think JT about ready to get back on his horse. And this is the running back ranking video that I put up. I put this video up about an hour before we went live. So do check out this video. This is my week number 8 running back ranking video. Check it out. But here, ladies and gentlemen, actually, let me keep that on here. We'll keep that on here. Here, ladies and gentlemen, are my buy lows for week number 8 and beyond. Really, this is not just a week 8 maneuver here you're doing when you make a trade for one of these guys. Tyreek Hill is still on the list, and even the doubt circling about his week 8 availability might even open the door to an even better buy low that bakes in the risk of him not playing this week. Gibbs off the table. Door closed. Buy low window closed. Cooper Kupp, buy low window closed. Puka Nacua with his mullet / glorious mane. Buy low window closed.
Through sheer science and intense aerodynamic study, the mullet of Puka Nacua has been reconstructed inside the Fantasy Football Show studios. This systematic balance of hair volume, mixed with both Quantum Atom fiber technology and L'Oreal shampoo and conditioner, creates a floating mechanism to which the world has never seen. Patent pending. To see this prototype in action, see Puka on Sundays as he floats around the field.
So Puka Nacua buy window closed, Kupp buy window closed. Where's that list? I went to the wrong board. This is the week 8 running back board. JT, that's where I was going with JT. JT has been and remains until kickoff one of the best buy low RBs you could find in week 8 beyond thinking. So go grab your JT shares while you can. Divide your one player if you must. If you're losing, no one should be trading Jamar Chase if they're winning. Nobody should be trading Barkley or Henry or Kyron if they're winning. Why try and fix what's not broken? But if you look yourself in the mirror and you do an honest inventory on your squad and you say, Steve, you son of a B, you worthless drafter, Steve. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me be positive toward myself. Steve. Pathetic, Steve. Okay, Steve, you can't win. You've got Jamar Chase. He's popping off, but you're losing with Jamar. What a disrespectful tribute to Jamar. So you've got to trade Jamar, unfortunately. Taylor in another piece is a glorious trade for you. Collins, Taylor. Puka and Kupp were great too as a two-part trade go get, but that's out the door. Deebo Samuel, questionable this week. Bye week next week very much fits the bill. A JT and Deebo is doable. A Tyreek Hill now, questionable for this week. And then all the turmoil going on in Miami. People are not sure if Tua is going to stay upright all year. That is a doable combo. You could get a Taylor and a Hill, a Taylor and an injured DK who's out this week but still a remarkable player going forward. Collins, who's out 2 weeks but a remarkable player going forward. Reed, very doubted, very good. Go buy low on that gauntlet of players. That menu is absolutely phenomenal, and JT belongs in your target range of players to go get. Okay, there's that piece of news. We got Kareem Hunt removed from the injury report. He's going to have a good day in week number 8 against the Raiders. So if you have him, he's probably a pretty damn good play and hard to bench unless you're just stacked. DK Metcalf doubtful for week 8. Expect him to miss this contest. And that's a shame, but it's also a good buy low opportunity. Kenneth Walker, illness removed from the injury report. No doubt in our minds he played with the illness last week. I think a lot of people said it was a hangover from his birthday. Or he got some sort of cold or something or illness while he was out celebrating that. McCaffrey, according to Ian Rappaport, said there's a very good chance McCaffrey plays Achilles tendonitis bilateral in both legs, plays in week 10 against the Buccaneers. What's that mean? No one knows. Does that mean 20%, 30%? You never know with Shanahan. He could run him into the ground in one game. So I'm not going to pretend to know what Shanahan fully intends to do. And the problem with CMC is he's hungry and he'll sacrifice his body and he'll throw himself out there full go if you allow him. So you have to protect the player. And unfortunately, Shanahan's not the right coach to protect his player. So I don't know what's really in store. I could tell you I know, and I'd be telling you something that's not true. I do believe that his body should not be getting more than 40% of the work or 30 his first game out. I can tell you that his bilateral Achilles tendonitis will most likely keep him out for handfuls of quarters and snaps the remainder of the season. I can tell you that his chronic, not something you get rid of, chronic Achilles tendonitis will likely come and go throughout the season. He'll have good weeks, he'll have bad weeks, he'll have good games, he'll have bad games, he'll have good hours, he'll have bad hours, back to back. He could have a good half and then a bad second half. This is a flare-up type of thing, and it's painful, and it's not something that's ever going to go away. It's probably only going to get worse. Maybe the treatment he sought out overseas will help him temporarily for a couple games, but I have a feeling with the wear and tear on this man's body, which caused the Achilles tendonitis, mind you, which puts both of his Achilles tendons, one more so than the other because one's a little more severe, at risk. He could rupture his Achilles tendon at any moment if he forces and pushes himself past the point of being smart. So there's a chance he could absolutely surprise people for a handful of games, get hurt, or surprise people right out of the gate and stay healthy and then get hurt in the playoffs, or not do much until the playoffs, do really well in a couple games in the playoffs, and then fall off big time in 2025 when a whole off season starts to get worse and the Achilles tendon just progressively gets worse even through time and not even using it, just being off in the off season, having a different workout regime. Is he even fully in shape right now to his liking, to his ability to stave off other injuries at his old age because he's not able to train the way he used to train right now? Travis Etienne, hamstring will be a game time decision. trending a little bit more in the direction of him playing this week versus last week, but still very much in question, which means Tank Bigsby, fire the man up and do it live, because he is a freaking gold mine right now. If you picked him up and you had him off of our waiver show, repetitive waiver, ranking where he was on it, for consecutive weeks from Jump Street. Tua Tagovailoa cleared concussion protocol. He's officially back. He's officially going to play, and let him cook. And I hope Tyreek's catching the football from him. I hope Waddle returns to a starter caliber player, and I hope Achane gets fed.
Let him cook.
It is what it is. It is what it is. Hopefully Tyreek Hill plays. It's a concerning thing for sure. I'll tell you that. Darisaw out for the season. This is one of the best left tackles in the National Football League. So this is devastating news for the Vikings, and partly maybe why Aaron Jones didn't play as well in the second half of this game. Game script was certainly part of it, but this is awful news for this entire situation over in Minnesota. So just to let you know on that one. Chris Olave no longer on the injury report with the concussion. That's fantastic news. Fire up Chris Olave. He's ready to rumble. This is a crafty tight end play in Taysom Hill. It always is. No show or channel or analyst has been higher on Taysom Hill over the last 3-4 years than this boy right here. And I know that because we created video after video the year and every year since. But the year that Taysom Hill had that controversial QB tight end wide receiver designation, and then he went in to play quarterback when on ESPN and every platform he was designated a tight end, and people were winning leagues left and right. And this was a strategy that I mapped out in a video in the offseason. Not weeks prior, the week leading into offseason. Stash him, and he could win you a league once he becomes a starting quarterback. And the prediction was he would start games at quarterback that season. There was a lot of thought that he could be the starting quarterback. He was getting paid big money per season. And so my thinking then was he would take the job. Right now it doesn't, you remember it differently. He's a gadget player, whatever, not a starting quarterback. But back then there was some major thought he'd become a starting quarterback and he would take the job, and he did. And he did. And he was a starting quarterback for multiple games, and he won people leagues. And ESPN, because everybody cried and complained, pulled his eligibility, locked your lineups as if someone was on IR. You couldn't move anything until you moved them out, but you could keep them in if you didn't make any moves. It was like their way of trying to, be middle ground. But anyway, he's back, removed from the injury report. Very crafty RB. He's essentially, going to get a bunch of work all over the field. And honestly, in Superflex, in dire situations, I've got one myself. I had to pick him up because I need another quarterback, and he's eligible as QB in most formats. So go grab your boy Taysom. He can kind of save the day if need be. Dalton Kincaid removed from the injury report with the collarbone. This is good news. Maybe there's some issues there. That the reason, kind of like Laporta, there's injuries and things and reasons why we're not seeing what we should see out of him. But also keep in mind, last year, Dalton Kincaid got hotter and hotter as the weeks moved along. He was very, very stale in the beginning part of the season. It's hard to tie that to last year, but I feel like there is a ramping up. And if you look at his game logs, he's getting more targets, he's getting more yards, he's getting more receptions, and he's doing pretty decent. Was removed from the injury report, this man, Jaden Reed. Ankle, one of the better buy lows in fantasy right now. As I've pointed out and put on the buy low board, I believe Reed can save you at the wide receiver position, especially if you do a creative 2-for-1 where you get two players for your one. Now you got to make sure that if you're going to dip down into the Reed category in level of player instead of Hill or DK or maybe Nico, you're beefing up the running back acquisition part of your trade in the 2-for-1. You're getting an Achane or maybe a Kamara if you want to take that risk, or a JT versus, let's say, a lesser RB potentially. So you got to be careful when you're constructing your 2-for-1s to get the right two players for one. You got to be able to answer the question, can both of the players I'm getting have cups of coffee with the one individual monster that I'm trading away for the two players? Not would you draft them over. We're not idiots, okay? No one's drafting these guys over, let's say, Jamar Chase, your 2 players you're getting. But could they, in sneaky fashion, have a cup of coffee? And if the answer is yeah, then you're protecting yourself and you're doing the right two for one. If you're getting Flowers back with a good running back that's not Achane or somebody that at that level, you're making a bad trade, because Flowers is not the kind of player that can dance with Jamar Chase. With the inconsistency in Baltimore, his talent level is amazing, but it's not that. That's not the problem. It's the rotational aspect of that offense and the way they lean on different weapons at different times in a rotational fashion that leaves the non-focused on players with low stat lines and not feeding and spreading it around every game. Jaden Reed, go get him. Do it live. Jaden Reed, do it live. Do it live. He can win you a league in a sense from the right vantage point. Dallas Goedert ruled out. God, he just can't stay healthy. He's so good. He was like top 3 tight end material all year, it seemed, until he got hurt. George Kittle, questionable, trending in the right direction like Debo, but still something to totally monitor. Aaron Rodgers, hamstring, is expected to play against the Jets in Week 8. Monitor this hamstring. I'm a little worried. I hate saying this because everything's tied to this thing. Everything's tied to Aaron Rodgers. I'm petrified. I'm a petrified Peter right now. We all are. We all have PTSD. With the Falcons situation, although Penix Jr. is there to remedy that if we ever see an injury to Kirk Cousins. But this doesn't have a backup plan like that backup plan in Atlanta. That genius backup plan in Atlanta that a lot of people made fun of, but your boy said it was genius. It's absolutely genius. Don't listen to people that say Atlanta was foolish to do what they did. They were not. The Jets were foolish not to go get Justin Fields to back up Aaron Rodgers and have a candid conversation with Aaron Rodgers saying, you're not going to lose your job. Okay, but we need to do this because last year we got screwed. And you're 97 years old. And we need to do this, and you need to support it. And we promise there's no competition. We'll shut it down. We'll do whatever we got to do, but we got to bring in Justin Fields. If this man goes down, and the hamstring injury concerns me because of the connection and the correlation of why you get a hamstring injury with Achilles or knee injuries. Usually you have a very susceptible tendency to get a hamstring injury coming off of a major lower leg or knee injury, i.e. think of Dalvin Cook, his rookie year, tore his ACL, came back, had a horrible year with the hamstring injury, couldn't get right. Hamstring injuries, having this kind of compensation injuries when one leg is a lot smaller than the other. Think about what we're talking about here. Christian Watson had a leg that was 30% smaller than the other leg. 30, not 10, not 8, 30%. His one leg was 30% smaller from a numerous amount of hamstring injuries that caused his leg to atrophy, and he never could get it back to the same level. And that caused an imbalance, like a vehicle that's not aligned right, and you drive it for 20,000 miles, not aligned right. The whole thing's going to have massive problems, wear and tear on different pieces differently. You got your brake, everything's going to be screwed. Eventually, the more you drive on it, right? Well, Aaron Rodgers has driven enough for a lifetime, so driving even a little bit on an off-kilter, alignment is going to cause problems immediately. And so Aaron Rodgers having one of his calves, I want to say a little more than half the size of the other, and that happens with Achilles tendon tears, especially if you're not in there just bulking up and becoming an absolute Barkley monster. But when you tear your Achilles tendon, not your ACL, but your Achilles tendon, there's a discrepancy between one calf size and the other. And that causes what Watson struggled with, compensation, which causes hamstring injuries. And so there's a lot of concern here. Now, he doesn't run around a lot. He's pretty mobile for what happened to him last year, I will say that. But the last thing we need is he's getting rocked. He's getting absolutely pummeled every single game, and there's at least one or two plays every game where he barely gets up. He's like, and his knee and his Achilles and his leg and his foot, it all gets rolled up on, and he looks at it, he gets down, he kind of grabs it, and we're like, no. So I'm worried. Breece Hall survived last year, so I do think he'd survive, but this concern, if I've got Garrett Wilson and Adams, it's not that I don't think they can do well. I just feel like there's maybe safer vehicles to get into without selling in losing your shirt. Like, keep Adams, keep Garrett Wilson if you're not getting the right player. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying get rid of at all costs. I'm saying, are there safer vehicles to get in? Might you buy a doubted MHJ right now instead of Adams or Garrett Wilson and get something else in return in a creative 2-for-2? Might you go after an injured DK or Nico Collins right now using a Garrett Wilson Adams in something if you need to? That's all I'm saying, and I think it's a smart way to look at this. It's a very preemptive way. That doesn't mean you don't believe in Adams. I still think Adams could do something. I still believe in Garrett Wilson. This is not Smitty, you were wrong about. It's not about that, being right or wrong. It's about balancing risk and seeing if there's opportunity. If there's not, you go back to Garrett Wilson, you go back to Adams, and you look at the positives. This is not a get out or be all end all type of thing. Like, understand that there's gray areas across all of these conversations. It's not a black and white situation. Bucky Irving says that barring any setbacks, Bucky Irving toe will play week 8. So more clouded backfield dilemmas for anybody that has, Sean Tucker, Bucky Irving, Rachaad White. But I will say Rachaad White's going to look pretty solid going forward, given the fact that they lost their top 2 pass catchers, and Rachaad White is next man up in terms of being the most skilled pass catcher in the running or wide receiver room. So, but that also opens the door to Bucky being a lot of running back opportunity at his feet, because Rachaad White's going to play wide receiver a lot of the time. They'll be on the field a lot together. So there's opportunity for Bucky and for Rachaad White. And I say Sean Tucker, but it's hard to count on in the third running back, even though he could have games and pop off moments. But you know what I'm saying. We got $20 super chat here from Jergsy. Appreciate you. Traded for JT for 2 weeks ago, and Kyron on Monday. Team is now Josh Allen, Kyron, JT, Mixon, Jamar Chase, JJ, Kincaid, Reed, Bigsby, Waddle, Brooks. Team feels stacked. Trades, or should I, or am I on Saturn? I mean, your quarterback and your double RB with Mixon, your triple RB room, Kyron, JT, Mixon, Jamar Chase, JJ. You're playing in a grandma league, bro. You're playing in a grandma league. The only thing I'm trying to do at all is get Gibbs using JT. You know what I mean? Like, if I could trade Bigsby or Chase Brown or D-Hop or Waddle or Brooks to turn my JT. I keep Kyron, and I probably keep Mixon the way he's playing. If I could turn JT, who's in a complex situation with a complicated quarterback that has a lot of uphill battles to climb, and maybe a lot more 3-and-outs than we like. Although JT might be the solution. Run the ball, and he has 2 touchdowns on Sunday. Then he has 2 touchdowns the next contest that he's hopefully able to start consecutively. And like, he could be that 2. He could have 2 multiple. Like, that's how good he is. So, like, understand, I'm not saying sell low, but if I could get Gibbs, if I could get a player like that, maybe using a JT, I might do that. But past that, I'm telling you to stand down and don't touch this team. You've built a monster. Let it do its thing. Anthony, appreciate your blank super chat, my guy. Thanks for supporting the channel. Baker, Mahomes, or Unlimited. Mr. Unlimited, Russell Wilson. I'm going to go Mahomes. Mahomes has got everything going for him this week, and I think this is the revenge game that puts a lot of people, at least in like timeout for a little while, in terms of the Mahomes hate. Would you trade JT and Terry for Achane and Neighbors? In a millisecond, I would take Achane and Neighbors. Both sides I like better. You're crushing all sides of that trade. 12-team, Superflex, tight end premium. Or no, tight end. Superflex, tight end premium, I think. Plus PPR. Trade JJ and Ingram for AJB, May, Adunze, 25, 26 first rounders. Man, that's tough, bro. I'm going to say no. I don't trade JJ. If those were early first rounders, maybe. But AJ Brown's older. I like May a lot, but no, I'm not doing that. JJ's so valuable. I'm going to say no. I understand the trade. It makes sense on both sides. It really does. I could argue both sides. Trade CMC and Pickens to get JT and Adams. CMC and Pickens. I'd probably take JT and Adams. Yeah, JW. That just seems like the better way to go. There's more upside. Tempting offer my way. Josh Allen, BT, CMC, and Mason for my Stroud, Gibbs, and Olave. Wow. I would take the Josh Allen side of that trade, bro, especially because you have the entire Niner backfield that way. Make sure you grab Garendo if he's out there just to secure it up, but I would take that. Yeah. 3 things. Sutton, Downs, Dell, JSN, Worthy. 3 things? You mean 3? Okay. Trade Dell, Bigsby, Sutton for Higgins, Keon, Corum, and Corum's your cuff. So trade Dell, Bigsby, Sutton for Higgins, Keon, Corum, who's your cuff. I would take the Higgins side, I suppose. I like Bigsby a lot, but there's still ambiguity there. But that's tough. Bigsby for Cooper. I'd rather have Bigsby, unless you're in dire straits at wide receiver, then I guess I would take Cooper. They're close enough. And Dell over Higgins. I would say this week Higgins, but I'm very hopeful that Dell is able to explode and have that game that people think he's incapable of having. BT or MHJ. BT right now, but I do think MHJ bounces back. Keon Coleman, Wandell, Chubb, Pittman, Warren, injuries. Need to. I'm probably going to go I'm going to go Chubb. Oh, God, this is tough. I'm going to go Chubb and Coleman. I don't know I trust Pittman with AR5 yet, so I'm going to wait on that one. Waddle or Tank. I'm going to go Waddle, especially with Tyreek Hill maybe being banged up or potentially not even playing. 10-man, PPR, 5-2, more moves to make, or can I stay put? Allen, wide receivers are JJ, Jamar Chase, Kupp, Reed, Olave. Running backs are Gibbs, Mixon, JT, Connor. Oh, man. You're 5-2, which means you're doing something right? You got elite wide receivers, like, to the moon. So, Gibbs and Mixon, I don't think I'm moving anything. Like, this is a phenomenal team, even in a 10-man league, which is a little easier, right? But this is a phenomenal team. I don't think you can upgrade your quarterback. I don't think you can upgrade your wide receiver room at all. I think maybe you could upgrade Mixon or JT, but is that even the case? Like, what if JT's really a top 5 running back going forward? He could be. I would be very tempted to get Kyron. I'd be very tempted to get Barkley. I'd be very tempted to get Henry, using probably JT, Bigsby, Connor, Olave, like something along the lines there, Nick. Otherwise, I'm probably standing down and letting that team, with the depth that you have, take over. 2-5, currently 12-team league. Last week, I traded Devontae Smith and Zach Miles for Kupp. I can get Chase Brown and McMillan to go get Achane or Kamara. Yeah, I definitely would do that. I'd give up 5 Chase Browns and 5 McMillans for 1 Achane or 1 Kamara. I prefer Achane over Kamara. I don't think it's enough, but worth the try. Yeah, I don't think it's enough at all. I like I said, I give up 5-10 times that value to get one of those guys. But certainly try, and if you get a counter, let me know and we'll work it out. 0.5 PPR, 1 QB, 1 flex, JD5, Dak, Bijan, Mason, Swift, Tracy, Olave, Nico, Wandell, Allen, Laporta, 4-3, and he moves trying to get Neighbors. Getting Neighbors might be tough, but I think you could do it with potentially a Swift trade. Bijan and Mason kind of suffice. You got Garendo. I think there's a risk with CMC, obviously, but I think you could take that chance. So a Swift for Neighbors probably won't work straight up, but you do have other components you could throw into the trade to get it done. I think I'd potentially throw Keenan Allen or Waddle with maybe Swift to get Neighbors. I would try and get something back if you're doing Olave. If you're doing Waddle, I'd maybe do Waddle and Swift. Yeah, I'd still want something back if possible, but I think Olave and Swift or Waddle and Swift really could get a Neighbors deal done. But you got to pay the price for Neighbors. You can't really buy them that cheap. You can certainly try, but Olave hasn't earned it. Maybe Swift straight up. You could always try, bro. I've seen crazier things happen. I'm going to say, check myself here. Try Swift straight up. See if he's desperate at RB, and if he doesn't do it, then try and do it 2 for 2, adding Waddle or Olave in, but get a second player back. Traded Mason and Deontay for HN. I'm fine with that. Also traded Kupp for Tyreek. That could go either way. Do you take on too much risk? No, I if I was in one league, I'd want Kupp. If I was in another league, I'd want Tyreek in side-by-side fashion. Meaning that I think they're both capable, and I want to split up and hedge my bets on both of those guys because they're both phenomenal, bro. Got offered Jamar Chase, JT, and Andrews for my Brees and Tyreek. Gosh dang it. I probably lean Brees Tyreek, but this is risky because if he's out this week, I would flip it, but I'm taking the gamble. I have Brock Bowers and Laporta already. I would trade one of those and try and do some other move, but I don't know if you can maybe... Oh, it's a guillotine league. Okay, shit, jeez, bro. In a guillotine, I mean, you got bye weeks to deal with, though. At least Tyreek Hill's bye week free. I don't know. Guillotine league, maybe I go... I mean, you got to take the gamble. If you think Tyreek plays, Tyreek side, even in the guillotine. If you think Tyreek's going to sit, you know, you could sit on this offer a little bit. Maybe no move is better than doing the wrong move. You could sit on the offer a little bit and then wait for the news to kind of level a little bit or some dust to settle. Trade Bijan and Evans for JT and Higgins. I'd rather have JT and... I'd rather have JT and Higgins right now because Evans' injury. It's just too much. If you can weather it, I guess I'm okay with it. Like if you're saying, hey, Smitty, I'm fine. I can definitely weather it out. Then I guess I'm okay with the Evans side. That will be better. When Evans is back, that side will be better. But how many points will you lose at that point, you know? I have Hurts, HN, Tyreek, Madison. I'm 2-5. Who should I trade and what should I trade for? Hurts, HN, Tyreek. God, this is a tough one, bro, because this is a very thin team. And Hurts doesn't really have tons of trade value because it's been kind of a spotty. You know, he's got value from the right buyer, but HN doesn't have any trade value right now. Tyreek Hill hasn't earned his trade value, and he's injured. I wish, SB, I could give you advice right now, but any advice I gave you to do a trade would have you losing your shirt. You've got to have HN, Hurts, and Tyreek explode, come back to me, and then we divide one of them into 2 players. That's the only, like, it'll be doing you a disservice if I told you to trade one of those guys now on the low. You'd lose your shirt, so stand down. Absolutely.
Alert. Stand down order in effect.
Thank you for the super chat, by the way. You're going to Mars for the 20.
To Mars.
Thank you, pal. Trying to move Kamara and a wide receiver. CD owner is a Cowboy fan. Then you're not going to get him. JJ. Tyreek, but it's risky. Collins and something for AK alone. You could go that route. Should we get a little excited about Dalvin Cook maybe playing in Dallas? No. 6 point per TD or Mayfield, Prescott, or Caleb have to sit one who? Probably sitting Mayfield, bro. Without his weapons, it's kind of hard to expect him to be the same player. Flex 1, JT, Reed, Olave, Connor. I'm probably going to go JT this week, bro. Off the injury report, probably not going to be limited on any level. So probably say that. Grab Bateman off waivers, traded for D-Hop. I like that. I mean, you could argue both sides for sure, but I could get behind that. Smitty, it's rivalry week, and so I can't afford to lose. Lineup help Bigsby, MHJ, and Brian Thomas Jr. If ETN sits, do we risk 2 Jacksonville players or go MHJ over BT? I'm not sitting BT over MHJ, but I'm not like necessarily saying that I start him over like Bigsby. I probably play both Jacksonville players. I get that there's some concern there, but keep in mind that they, if they're down, they're trying to throw a lot. They're trying to, execute a lot. I think that I love MHJ. I want to play him, but I'm not sitting Bigsby or BT. I could flip AJB for Puka after the trade. I don't know that that's necessarily like that's even, and there's maybe some, I don't want to say risk in that, but like AJB's still a stud, bro. Like, I don't think that that's necessarily an upgrade. There's pros and cons to it. I have Neighbors, London, Pickens, Yeah, that personally doesn't change anything on anything. Like, those are dead even players. You know, and there's pros and cons to AJB. There's pros and cons to Puka. Puka plays so hard. He's like, puts his body at risk every play. Dynasty 12-man. I'm 5-2. I got Hurts, Henry, Pollard, AJB, Debo, Adams, Worthy, Fergie. We love Puka. I'm just being real with you that AJB is the same. Pacheco on IR. Lazard and Downs and Hill on the bench. Any moves? I'd probably say with this squad, you probably hold strong and wait, bro. Pacheco and Pollard for a slight running back upgrade. I'm trying to get JT. I'm trying to get Achane while I can. I'm trying to get potentially a player like that. But waiting for Pacheco, having this team, I'd probably wait a week before I do anything. You could, after next week, if you're feeling bad, you're 5-2, you're doing the right things. Debo and AJB and Adams should be pretty damn good. Worthy's also solid. But you might consider next week, if you're not liking your team squaring up against the other teams, we look at trading Henry for 2 monsters. Or you look at it now and you buy Achane, or you could try for Gibbs and something, but Achane and like a Lamb. Like, try for Lamb and something, like right now. See if you can pull that off for Henry. Lamb and a Walker. Lamb and something wild. Otherwise, hated, I'm going to stand down and wait a week because you're 5-2 and the team looks pretty good. Pick one, Dell or Juwan. Jennings is ruled out already, Ozzy. If you watch the beginning of the show, I hit that up. So your question is already answered. Maybe I missed, why would you not start Hopkins? I never said not to start Hopkins, Kafka. So it wasn't from me. Appreciate your super chat. Is Ingram top 5 rest of the season? Probably, if he stays healthy. Kevin, appreciate you. Chase Brown or Bigsby? Bigsby, easy decision, bro. Coming off 2 big 100-yard back-to-back games. Start 1 running back and a flex. Cook, Pollard, Rashad White, Bucky, Scary Terry, and with no JD5. Well, we don't know if JD5 is in or out. If JD5 plays, I'm putting Scary Terry in. If I'm probably going Cook and Scary Terry, probably Cook and Pollard Cook and White. Cook and Rashad White if JD5 doesn't play. Thank you for the blank super chat, Francis. Appreciate you very much. This one here is from Ben. Appreciate you, Ben. JMO still a good hold? Absolutely. DeMarcus Robinson, where the stash he is, but not over JMO. JMO will be back, and his head coach said, I trust him. He'll be back. Traded Garrett Wilson for Jacobs and Keon. I could go either way on that. If you needed a running back bad enough, I could get behind Jacobs and trusting him for that, I guess. But I'd rather have gotten more, and I think Garrett Wilson is still maybe even a little more valuable. 5-2, JD5, Mason, Garendo, Kyron, Corum, Monty, Ray Davis, Sharbs, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Cooper Cup. Send an offer out. Mason and Garendo for neighbors. JMO is on waivers. Someone dropped him. Pick up JMO. Do that trade. Smash all around. And then try and trade maybe one JMO and somebody for a low-end running back, or a running back that's a little doubted like JT or HN or something now, TP. But yeah, smash the neighbors trade. Pick up JMO. No hesitation. That's crazy. And drop someone, I guess. Drop somebody. I probably your worst player probably is Ray Davis or Parasol. Like, you just got to make a decision on that, TP. They're like, one way is going to screw you if there's an injury. Like, I can't predict the injury part. You know, they're dead even though. They're dead even players. Mark with the blank $2 hauler. Mark, appreciate you dropping the $2 wad in support of the channel, my guy. Thank you very much. We got Samuel dropping the starting Ricky Parasol in the flex over McMillan or Tracy. I probably would this week with Jennings out. Kirkwood says chance on this trade happening. Bigsby, Connor for HN, MHJ. I'd take HN and MHJ. Definitely, Kirkwood. That's a good trade. Traded Najee Harris, Amari Cooper. I could get behind either side. That's pretty dead even, my broski. Very dead even. And who to flex to 14-man league. League 1, Parasol, Keon, Coleman, Sutton, or Bub means I'm going to say probably give me Keon Coleman in League 2, but Pearsall's close. Chase Brown or ETN. ETN, if he plays, I'd still go Chase Brown.
Motion detected.
Given that situation, bro. And then, God above all, appreciate you. Team is now Josh Allen, Kyron, Achane, Amon-Ra, Coleman after the trade for Hill and Achane. Team feels stacked, but I'm 3-4. Don't worry, 3-4 is like 1 or 2 games out of the playoffs, if that. Like, that's the way that goes this early in the season. Yeah, Achane, Kyron, Amon-Ra, Tyreek, you're good to go, bro. Let it rip. Cooper and Najee for one bigger player. Shoot for the moon and just keep trying. If you don't get it done, you don't get it done. You don't get it done. You know what I'm saying? That's a smash. Yeah, definitely try Cooper and Najee for one big dog. Just keep shooting for the moon. You start at Lamb and you work your way down and you see if you find someone sleeping at the wheel. There's always someone sleeping at the wheel, bro. All the time. Constantly. Constantly. Short phone calls, 30 seconds.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
Dial in, dial in, dial in. Five eight six. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Matt from Sacramento, California.
What's up, Matt from Cali?
What's going on? I got a quick question for you, Smitty. Love the show. Just wanted to run this by you. I'm a little bit of a tight end dilemma here. I had to give away Laporta. I currently have Cade Otton. Hawkinson is out, and I've got a buddy offering Njoku. Here, or McBride. He's offering Njoku or McBride, but he wants to take away ETN and then one of my receivers like Khalil Shakir or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with getting McBride for that. I'd do that no matter what. But you've got Otton. You said you're good there anyway. So then you probably just make a trade there. You like turn that value into something. But Otton's like top 5, 6, 7 material potentially.
Okay, and currently 2-5. Curious if I should start anyone else over the current lineup. Allen, Achane, Mixon.
I can't.
Lamb,
I can only do. I'm sorry, bro. I can't do full roster evals. It just takes way too long. The super chats pile up. But I appreciate you. If you got a more solid, narrowed down question, call back. Appreciate you. Terrell, you're live.
All right, hey Smitty. I'm in a 2 QB league. I have Jalen Hurts and Kyler Murray. I also have Tua. Should I trade Kyler Murray for Puka?
Yes.
I'm in the deal right now.
Yeah, I mean, you're it's super flex.
Super flex.
And you got Tua as your number 2.
I got Tua as my number 2. I got Kyler and Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, so Hurts and Tua going forward. I'd take that gamble with Puka in my lineup. It's risky, but I mean that's why we play the game, bro. Scare money don't make money.
Right. Exactly.
All right, bro.
Thank you.
All right, later.
All right.
Hang tight, Caps, and rock out. If you guys could remain muted real quick, please, while I get through these super chats real quickly. Bucky with a 20. Who do I start? 1-6. Caleb Williams, Breece Hall, Jacobs, Waddle, Tyreek, Devontae Smith, Debo, and Njoku, JT, Pearsall, JD5, Dell. Should I make any trades? Thank you. Breece. Montage if you can. I will Bucky if I can in a bit. Who should I start? 1-6, Caleb. I mean, I don't know what your lineup requirements are, bro. I mean, I'm going Breece and I'm going Jacobs. I'm going Tyreek if he plays, Devontae Smith and Debo. And then if I need to swap one like Tyreek or Debo out for Waddle, I go Waddle. You got JT. Why is JT listed down here? You go JT instead of Jacobs then. So Breece and Jacobs and Breece and JT then, and Jacobs on the bench. Tyreek and Debo as your 2 wide receivers, and then your flex is either Jacobs or Smith or Waddle. And I'd probably rank them. Let me just rank those 3 together. I'd say Smith, Waddle, Jacobs in that order. Trades, Jacobs and Dell, Jacobs and Devontae Smith, Jacobs and maybe Waddle for one big monster. Take a gander at the board and see if you can, or that's not the board. You could look at that board, but take a gander at this board and try and do a 2-for-1 using that package. Guys that come to mind, obviously, Achane, Lamb, and just work your way down to the point where you got to say no to yourself. Like, that's not enough to go for this guy. He's too close to the 2 players I'm giving up. 12-man half PPR. Thank you for the $20 holler, my broski. 12-man half PPR. Start 3. Kirk, Bigsby, Hopkins, Pearsall, McMillan, Olave. Olave's off the injury report. I'm going Olave. Bigsby, 2 back-to-back 100-yard games. Do it live. And I'm probably going to roll with Hopkins and just, I don't know. Maybe because it's fun. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the right guy to ask on that question because of my response. Tight end pre-start, Taysom Hill over Kincaid, Laporta. If Laporta's playing, I'm not sitting Laporta. He's been playing with injuries. He's a monster. J-Mo is out. Guess who's going to thrive if Laporta's in there and playing? Pick 2 to start, Dell, Coleman, or Brown. Probably going Dell and Coleman, or no, Dell and Coleman for safety and PPR. But honestly, Top Gun, let's rank this for Top Gun. Pick 2, Dell, Coleman, Chase Brown. Please select 2. Mark, appreciate you. Do you think Kupp will stay healthy or trade him? I'd probably ride the risk that he Travis, try calling it again. I missed it. Try rolling the dice with Kupp, in my opinion. Unless you've got Kupp everywhere, then you could lay off a little risk. $20 hauler, 12-man half PPR, start 3. I'm going Bigsby. Oh, I just did this one. I didn't realize that was a $20 hauler. Appreciate you.
Too much.
To my boy Tyler. Tyler, I definitely. So, guys, can we give Tyler more attention? I didn't realize this is a $20 hauler. Not that money buys my time, but it can.
I was more looking at Blackhawks 6. I saw him at Blackhawks.
Who the hell is talking in the back? Is that Matt?
I'm hell excited. I'm going to play it tonight.
You going to play it? Really? Is that who's talking in the background?
It's not me.
Okay. 12-man half PPR. Start 3. Kirk, Bigsby, Hopkins, Pearsall, J. So can we vote on this one, guys? I'm locking in Olave and Bigsby, but Hopkins, Pearsall, Kirk, McMillan. Please pick one. Hopkins, Pearsall, Kirk, McMillan. Pick one for Tyler. He dropped a $20 super chat, and he deserves a little help, and I'm asking you to step up. Otten or Komet this week. I'm going to go Otten. Otten is now potentially in the conversation of a top 6 tight end the rest of the way, given all the injuries in that wide receiver room in Tampa. He becomes a wide receiver, most trusted wide receiver for Baker. Hey, traded Kincaid, Dobbs, trade Tucker for Bowers. I'm fine with that. Bowers is that good, bro. And he's probably going to get better every step we take. What did everybody vote on this one? D-Hop. Like, I think the chat's going D-Hop. I'd go D-Hop. I just have a good feeling. Look at Mari Cooper scored his first game. Why can't Hopkins? Smitty, what kind of player could I get for Najee? Debo banged up, but that's slipping away. Nico Collins out 2 games. Puka, you could have. Now you can't. Mike Evans, if you wanted to wait on him, those are all pretty good names. I think that I would potentially look to buy. And another one, I'd say Tyreek Hill being questionable. Jaden Reed. Alvin Kamara, Walker. You might have to throw in a little bit for some of those, but those are all potential doable situations, I think. Smitty, what kind of... Oh, that's the one I just answered. This one here, traded Monty and Flowers for Nico. I think you overpaid by a lot, DK. I love Nico, but he's still out 2 games. I like this move next week more than I like it this week, and I love the trade, that. But like Monty and a healthy Nico, one would make arguments. I'm not saying I wouldn't rather have Nico, but one would make arguments. You know what I'm saying? Pick 2 to start. Guillotine. Got to play it on the safe side. Achane, Tyreek, Flowers, and Tank Dell. I mean, look, if Tyreek plays, you play him. Achane and Tyreek, you don't sit those guys no matter what. I don't care what we're talking about. So that's how I answered that one. If JD5 is a no-go, would you start Geno or AR5? Probably Geno. And Trone Force, appreciate you. 2 and 5 PPR. Need to make a run. Any suggestions? JD5, Tyreek, Kupp, Barkley, Monty, McLaurin, Hopkins. I like this team. The only thing I'm messing with at all, I'm keeping Barkley, keeping Tyreek, keeping Kupp, keeping JD5. I'm maybe trying to take advantage of Njoku, going rogue at tight end, pick up Taysom Hill, do whatever you got to do to fix that problem you're going to create for yourself. But use Njoku to upgrade Monty into, Gibbs, or even better in some cases. Upgrade McLaurin or Hopkins into Tyreek Hill-ish type player who you already have, but you know what I'm saying? Like Nico would be interesting too, like in some sort of like, D-Hop and Joku for Nico and something, or you go after Debo, or you go after Cooper Kupp, who had a touchdown but didn't exactly explode. He didn't. CD, appreciate you becoming a member, my guy. So Trone, appreciate you dropping the super chat, my broski. All right, Marsman, rock out. You're live, and then I go over to Cap.
Yeah, what would you do with Kareem Hunt? Would you try to trade him or ride the wave?
I mean, I'd try and trade him because Pacheco is likely to come back, which is something that didn't seem like it was the case like weeks ago, but the news on his foot changed. So
would you try to get a Cook? I already got Ray Davis.
Yeah, I'd take Cook. Hell yeah. That'd be a great trade.
All right.
There's risk involved, rock out. Buffalo does that with the RBs, but there's also risk that Pacheco comes back and it's just a big timeshare. I don't think Hunt's gonna stave off Pacheco. So I would definitely do that. All right, bro. Hey, mute yourself, Doug. Doug, this is the second time, Doug. Mute yourself. There's a lot of background noise, Dougie. All right, rock out. Hang tight.
Okay.
We'll come right back to you. Cap,
Sorry
you're live.
about that, guys.
Cap, you're live from Florida.
Hey, okay. Listen, I need 2 out of the 4 receivers I'm going to about to name you, but this is the kicker. Would you package those 2 receivers that you are about to name me for a true number 1? Okay, I got Dell, McMillan, Smith, and Tolbert. I need 2.
I hate to break it to you, but you can't find an elite 1 getting rid of these guys. There's no one's going to give that up. So I'm probably going to say I like McMillan a little this week, but give me Dell and give me Devontae Smith this week. But, you're not going to be able to sell Dell for anything right now. McMillan's not tradable. He's a fun player to pick up, but no one's going to trade for him. And Tolbert, I don't think people even pay any mind to him. Like Devontae Smith, who could you get? Like if I look at my buy low wide receiver board, I don't think you're getting with Dell and Smith or McMillan and Smith. I don't think you're getting someone like Nico injured. You could try. I don't think you're not getting Kupp or Nakua. They're off the board. Maybe a Reed. Like if you believe Reed is an elite wide receiver 1, I think he can be. Debo being banged up and has a bye week coming, maybe it's possible. Like those are the only shots you got though. There's not a lot that you can do, bro. This is not an Arsenal, where you could just walk in and go, I got a wide receiver store. Someone serve me an elite wide receiver. Devontae Smith is very doubted right now. People are trying to bench him left and right. Even you are. You got Devontae Smith, a potential high-end wide receiver 2 that can flirt with wide receiver 1 numbers. You got him in a grab bag of cellar dwellers right here. And I'm saying that because Dell hasn't been playing that way, but I'm going Dell because I think he can rise up out of the cellar. He is in the cellar, though. And Devontae Smith's a wide receiver 2, and you got him just buried in here. These are your 2 guys, bro.
So I got to write out. It's pretty much what you're saying.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, try for what I said. Try and get Nico. Try and get Debo. Try and get DK Metcalf injured. Try. Maybe somebody will do it. But maybe somebody does it after this week. Maybe somebody that has Nico keeps losing. They're like, I can't wait another week on Nico. And Dell went crazy, and Devontae Smith did good. Now you can trade both of them for Nico. Something like that. All right, Cap. Gotta go.
Yeah, you're right.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, later. All right, Doug from Cali.
Yeah, Smitty, I'm looking at Superflex League. I'm in second quarterback. Should I go with A-Rod or Russ Wilson?
Chat, what do you think? A-Rod or Russell Wilson? A-Rod or Russell Wilson? Let me look. I'm going to look at some consensus data of who's starting what across the industry in terms of that decision. Like, what is the average Joe doing? And the average Joe is starting. You said it's Aaron Rodgers and Russ. The average Joe is starting Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson by a smidge, by like minuscule amount of percentage points. That's what. So if I was to ask the audience on a grand scale, that audience would say by like literally a less than 5%, they're starting Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson on a grand scale.
Okay.
The chat is kind of torn, it seems. I feel like it's 50-50-ish. I think you gotta roll with your gut instinct on this one. I probably go A-Rod, but I the matchup, what is it, the Giants for Russ?
They're playing the Giants on Monday Night Football.
It's a nice matchup. It's a spotlight, but like, could it be a spotlight to fall apart? I'm not sold. What we saw was an amazing, full-fledged, solid, put-together product of Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson looked like dog water the first quarter and a half, and he should have lost the job if it wasn't for Pickens, who, when Russell Wilson threw the ball at the back of his helmet, the defender's helmet, Pickens saw it go up in the air, bobbled it around, grabbed it, pulled it in, and saved his rear end. And now all of a sudden, it's Russell Wilson. And the way Tomlin acted when he won that game, he didn't act that way when Fields won a game. He was so scared he made the wrong decision that first quarter and a half. He was so elated that it worked out for him. I think he's blinded by it now, as are a lot of people. But the thing is, this is a great matchup. His schedule looks pretty good. Like, Russ might get comfortable and ease in to the lineup and then keep it. It's very possible. And I will say Russell Wilson's better for Pickens for sure, but that doesn't change my view on Russell Wilson. But Russ does have a good matchup. Those moon balls might look okay in this one. But at the same time, like, what if the Giants come to play? And their defense isn't worn down. And this is one of those games where they're like, hey, pick a winner. All you got to do is pick one winner this week. And you're like, oh, Steelers. And then this is the game that's going to be every week. There's a game like that. This is going to be the game. I have a feeling it might be anyway.
Okay, well, that's good. That's what I needed, man. Just to kind of get a little clarification from the chat and you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, go to the chat and scroll back and read the A-Rod Russell Wilson commentary. All right, later, bro.
Okay, we'll do it. Thanks, Will.
Travis, you're live.
Hey, how's it going? So I need two out of these four. Chuba, Chase Brown, JSN, and MHJ.
Chuba, MHJ for me. MHJ is a risky play, but it's like just as risky to sit him. It's like 50-50.
That's where I was leaning. I just wasn't sure about JSN.
I mean,
the volume of DK's out, but
that's you know what. Maybe I'll say JSN safer. I mean, he really should. He really should eat over MHJ. He really should eat.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm starting.
I mean, it just seems like. I mean, I know Lockett had a good game last week and stuff, but looking at his targets, he's even with DK. Like last week was as low as 6 targets.
Maybe
7, 12.
Maybe I will say high risk, high rewards MHJ. The low risk, very safe plays JSN. But it's really tough.
And then, in terms of like rest of the season, do you like Chase Brown or Dobbins better?
Probably.
What if you had Vidal to back up? Does that matter at all to you?
Yeah, I guess I'd rather have Dobbins, but then I'd try and trade it. And while I love Chase Brown, we're week to week on that because of the usage. It's not his fault, but if he has another touchdown, then all of a sudden we're back. You know what? What are the Chargers doing to prove this is a good move? Everyone keeps saying wait on JK. JK's going to be good down the stretch. JK's going to be. I keep hearing it, but like, when's it going to happen? I'm going to say who's been scoring touchdowns week in and week out. Took 1 week off. Chase Brown. Chase Brown. Chase Brown. Final answer.
I mean, Harbaugh is so unpredictable, but like their schedule gets tougher in terms of defenses.
Yeah,
and Baltimore,
and their offensive line
still
banged up. It's still banged up.
Yeah, and I think they're going to try to get Vidal a little bit of work here and there.
The chat seems to like Chase Brown.
Looking good.
The chat seems to love Chase Brown.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I know we're a big Chase Brown community, but
awesome.
I'm going to say, you know what? The moment I say forget JK, he's going to do it. He's going to go off. But I just what are we waiting for?
Guys, yeah.
Why are we still waiting for it? In Harbaugh's, it's an awful, putrid situation. This misuse of Justin Herbert is unreal. Absolutely unreal. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me get through these super chats real quick. Smitty, would you trade Neighbors for CMC and Olave? I mean, if you need to make a move and gamble on CMC, you're not winning with Neighbors. You could try this, but part of me wonders if you could go get something better. Like, maybe like a Walker and DK injured or something like that. I think it's a good haul and a good gamble potentially, but it's also something that I'd only do it if I needed to make a trade and I was not winning with Neighbors. And I wasn't winning when he was in the lineup doing well. Like, if you're winning earlier, maybe you hold off and roll with Neighbors. But I feel like you could get a better return doing the same thing with a different team and get another owner to partake. Trade Mason to the CMC owner for Hunt? I would not, because the idea that Hunt is going to be more relevant when Pacheco comes back than Mason's going to be when CMC comes back. I think Mason's better. Hey to Chris. Superflex 12-man Dynasty 6-1. Got Burrow, Kamara, Gibbs, Cooper, Conkey, Otten, Rudolph. Sadly, my Superflex spot is Rudolph. Brooks on IR. Benches Evans, Fields, Dalton, Braylon. Look at Taysom Hill, by the way, if he's QB eligible. Any moves to make? I'd probably say with this team, bro, I mean, your wide receivers are a little shaky. I would consider Dynasty, though. I don't know that you're going to get a lot for Kamara. This is a tough call, bro. This is a really, really, no offense, but it's a really tough team. I don't know that this team is going to win anytime soon. I don't want to get rid of Gibbs, though. I would try my best to trade Kamara on the high. You might have to wait a week, but there's not a lot of trade opportunities. Amari Cooper is an old man. Kamara is an old man. Maybe you turn Burrow into a quarterback you quietly like as much, like a Mahomes is what I'm thinking. A Kyler, take a gamble on the quarterback downgrade to upgrade Cooper, to upgrade Kamara, to upgrade Pittman, or get an extra player that you find is being completely underrated. That would be my first, and then I'd include Brooks in some of this thinking too. Appreciate you. Little Maid, appreciate your super chat. JSN or MHJ. We just talked about that. I think MHJ might be safer, but Mark was saying about the wind. We need to check the weather in that game. He was saying there's going to be some severe winds, but we hear that, and then sometimes we got to wait till the morning on any sort of weather. But I think JSN's probably safer, but MHJ's higher risk but higher reward. If you need upside, bro, you almost got to roll with MHJ. I'm 3-4 in fifth. I have Gibbs, Mason, Ray Davis, Irving, Moore, McLaurin, Nico, Ferguson, Kraft, Darnold, Tillman, Kirk, Tolbert, Worthy. Who should I bench? So Gibbs and Mason are your starters. I don't know your lineup requirements, but if Nico's obviously not playing, I'd probably say Ferguson. I'd probably say McLaurin and DJ Moore. You have to start those two guys even if JD5 doesn't play, because you don't have any other options. And if there's another player, a flex of sorts, it's probably going to be Worthy. Your next best player, if you need another one, would probably be, if I had to guess, I would say your other tight end or Kirk, but I'd probably go with the other tight end. Kirk will score a touchdown the moment I don't back him, though. Just know that. Hi, Smitty, 2-5, 1 QB, 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 2 flexes. You've got CJ Stroud. You've got Walker, Hunt, Mondre. Javonte. You've got DK, T, Worthy, Dell, Bowers, starters. Your 2 running backs are Walker and Hunt. One of your flexes is Javonte. Your 2 wide receivers are usually DK and T, but this week will be T and Worthy. And your other flex, I'm going to say personally, would be Dell for me, and Bowers is your starter. What would you trade for Waddle or MHJ? I would trade probably Mondre, Javonte, Hunt. I would give up any one of those guys for Waddle or MHJ probably. And my preference with Tua back, maybe Waddle by a hair, but that's really, really, really a close call. And Blake says Garrett Wilson, Waddle, JSN, Moore, Reed, Ricky, start 4. I'm going Garrett Wilson. I'm going Jaden Reed. I'm going Waddle. And I'm probably going JSN. But DJ Moore's... damn it. DJ Moore, JSN. DJ Moore, JSN. Let me see what the average person in the fantasy football lineup space is doing. Just to give you an idea what the average Joe is doing. DJ Moore's 13. Let's see, what was that? It was DJ Moore and JSN, I think it was. DJ Moore is being started by like 50% or 60% more likely to be started by the average person. So, that's such a significant number. If we're wavering, it's a pretty nice thing to lean on. Like asking the audience, it's basically what I'm doing, but on everybody. I would say probably DJ Moore. JSN's interesting, but then we're talking about weather concerns and stuff too. So yeah, I'd probably say that. Cut Pitts or Bigsby. I'm going to cut to get a defense. Good Lord. I'd cut somebody else. You can't make me cut Pitts or Bigsby. What kind of league is this? 4-man? I probably, if Kittle's your starter and then he's banged up and he has a bye week, you kind of need Kyle Pitts. Bigsby's a starting running back. I mean, you got to drop Pitts probably, because how do you drop a starting running back that's getting 100 yards in back-to-back games that might be a savior to people? Make a trade. You can make a trade, bro. I have faith in you. Trade away Bigsby or Kyle Pitts instead of cutting him. Do a 2-for-1. Get a slight, and almost like even if it's like just 2 wide receiver spot upgrade in your mind. Just instead of cutting him, give him away to get that minute upgrade that the other owner might not even think is a big deal. I'm facing the number 1 guy in my league, and he has Hill and Higgins in his lineup. Please let me know if I have a shot. Need them to be out this Sunday. Don't watch your mouth. We don't want Tyreek Hill out this Sunday, bro. And do you have a shot? You act like this is like Lamb and Jamar Chase. I mean, I like Hill, but he's injured. There's, very good buy low, but Higgins, I don't know. Rock out. Appreciate you. Call back if you got another one. Rock out. Rock out. Couldn't wait. But yeah, you're like, tell me if I got a shot. He's starting Higgins. I mean, I understand the Hill part. Hill could ball out, but he's also banged up. But yeah, I'm not overly concerned about Higgins destroying you. But like he could do, again, since I said that, he's gonna have 2 touchdowns, which he's capable of it. But I haven't heard somebody become a petrified Peter over Higgins. Be like, bro, as Higgins, what do I do? Like, he's very capable. I'm not saying he can't do it. I'm just saying I've never heard that before. Bro's got Higgins. Bro's got T. Bro's got little T on his team. Do I have a shot? This is wild. Sebastian, and then back to Travis. Sebastian, you're live.
Hey, Smitty, what's going on? I'm just checking in. I just got back from LA. Saw Kyron score right in front of me, so that was dope to see. And I'll take a lap for thinking Puka was going to be limited, because I really did not see him taking any reps in practice. Quick question about Kyler. Do you think his fantasy stats go down now that Call of Duty came out? Because I know he's like notorious for that.
I think that's a ridiculous thing, bro. Like you really think he's like letting his, I know. I think that people make fun of that, and he laughs at that. That's such a meme. It's a meme, bro. There's no way this guy's like not. First of all, think about it this way, bro. Are you able to, at your job, play more Call of Duty at home than you already play? No, because when you're at your work, you're at your work. Like, they would know if he didn't show up to work because he's playing Call of Duty, they'd know about it. And if he's at home playing Call of Duty, instead of like extra playbook stuff, like he's exercising his mind, like that's not a problem at all. You know what I mean? Like there's no extra time he's spending away from the facility. His facility time is his facility time. You know, like everybody needs to vent and let their mind go. But yeah, I don't understand why people even say, "Oh, Call of Duty's out, he's done." Like, I mean, what's he gonna do? Not show up? They'll notice. Like he's committed. He's committed a certain amount of time to the team every week. It's not gonna change. If anything, like, look, I want his mind off, football a little bit here and there to like relax. Everybody should be able to do something like that. So no, I'm not. A lot of players play it.
And then just real quick before I get off, I just wanted to ask. I know this year's been rough, like with injuries and like the buzz for a lot of the off-season takes that we had. Do you think we'll recoup some of that, like go forward from now? Because I mean,
we've had some injuries, but we've had a lot of things popping off like crazy. I mean, look, Rashee Rice got hurt. We can't assume that. Cooper Kupp was the top 5 wide receiver, and he got hurt. That sucked, but he's returning back to form. You can see him doing that. But I mean, there's some things, of course, we've missed in injuries, but like, I mean, everybody's been hit with injuries like evenly across the board. Essentially, I know everybody thinks why me, but the whole landscape has been rattled. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff popping off. I mean, you say that as if the show is like missed on a ton of things. It hasn't. There's definitely some misses. There are always going to be. But like the things that I think maybe you're alluding to would be like Achane. Does Achane bounce back because now Tua's back? Yes, I believe so. Does Cooper Kupp return to form? Absolutely think he will. Do a couple of those bigger situations, MHJ get back on track, you could say, or even get on track, period. I mean, he had the one huge half. Those are 3 that are very concerning. And then Tank Dell, but Tank Dell was a low investment anyway. Like, that's not, everybody's so wild about that.
How about MHJ? Because he was going at the top
I just said that,
2.
Yeah.
Would you call him a bust for this year
I just said that. I think he gets back on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I totally missed that.
I think he gets back on track. Or on track, period, as the season progresses. Yeah, because he's an elite talent. And Kyler's got to throw to him. The offensive coordinator, it's just a game calling problem, a play calling problem as much as it is a Kyler problem. So I think they're going to get it to him. Rookies have ups and downs sometimes. Jamar Chase had like 4 or 5 bad games in a row. And then everybody was giving up on him left to right, and he exploded and won leagues for people. So MHJ, people want to judge MHJ, they can judge MHJ. I'm not, like, he did not deliver. He probably will not, at the end of the day, feel like he delivered for people unless he balls the hell out from like here on out, and then people will feel great about it at the end of the day. But, MHJ, Mahomes, Achane, those are like the ones we're hoping. Cooper Kupp, now that he's back from injury. Rashee Rice, we can't do anything about that. Those ones we need to hope come around, sure. But I mean, you're gonna have stuff that doesn't and stuff that does every year.
Yeah, I hope AR5 bounces back.
That one's tough.
That
one's tough.
Yeah. I'll catch you later, man.
I'll be rooting for him though. All right, later, bro. Travis, final thoughts, Travis.
Yeah, so with the Hill thing, the foot injury, actually maybe even before, but who do you value higher, him or BTJ, the way BTJ's been going? You still have Hill above him as long as Tua is out there.
Yeah, I mean, I like BTJ. BTJ feels like, he does feel like he has like some borderline second round equivalent value if you're drafting today. I don't know, it'd be smart to take him like a 14 or 13. I mean, it really wouldn't. But if he has some of that allure, but Hill could be top 5.
Right.
He could also be 0 because he was doing absolutely nothing without Tua Tagovailoa. So it's a risky play. The risk is definitely MHJ safer, but will you win a league? I'm sorry, MHJ. BTJ is safer, but will you win a league off of BTJ? He'll help you win a league, but Tyreek Hill can straight up win a league or lose a league for you. So it's not an easy call. All I would say is that it sounds like Hill's injury right now is a little bit of a concern. If he was not injured right now, if there wasn't a foot issue or concern, which I think that this is getting blown up a little bit because I haven't got the sense that this is a big problem, and he's just older. He's got a lot of, dings, and he's the kind of guy that would sit out an entire week and then come in and ball out. I don't think there was any setback of any kind of injury, nagging injuries or anything. I think it's just wear and tear, maintenance. They downgraded him out. They want to rest him. He's an old veteran. Him and Tua are like this. There's no need to even, they probably felt really good with the rhythm. Hey, Tyreek, you're kind of feeling sore. I know you guys got your connection back. It's good. Why don't you sit out this Friday? I'm not worried about it too much yet. It's definitely not great. He was downgraded. Usually that's a negative, but it doesn't always mean just because it usually is for other teams that it. Look, Kamara's, usually you don't get taken off the injury report when you have a broken hand. And Kamara's not on the injury report at all. They took him off the injury report today, and he's cleared from the injury report, and he has a broken hand. So if anybody thinks the injury report is the be-all, end-all, that because it says he's downgraded to out, that we have to, it's exact science. I don't think so. I think he plays, and if he plays, Tua can make him a top 5 wide receiver, top 5 overall player going forward. I would take the gamble, but I know what I'm getting into. Other people might not want the risk, and they shouldn't. If they're anxiety-driven people, they maybe should go BT.
Yeah, all right. And so just to offer that quickly, if I was to package Monty and Hill, I'd have to be getting Chase, or is that even, would I have to get something back with Chase? Or Jefferson, or
if you're trading, say it again, Hill and who?
Monty.
Hill and Monty for Jamar Chase?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot, bro. Because what I'm saying is Hill could be as good as Jamar Chase. Yeah. Jamar Chase is better. He's safer. I'd take him 10 times out of 10 over Tyreek Hill right now, knowing what we know with the risk factors involved, even with the risk factor of recognizing that Tua one pop and he's done. So all of that is embedded into this, decision. But the truth of the matter is Hill could, this is exactly what I was saying. Whenever you can argue that one could compete with, or both the players you're getting could, technically speaking, compete with the one big monster you're giving up. So Jamar Chase, Monty could have dances with Jamar Chase on a week-to-week basis. I'd never draft Monty over Jamar Chase, but he could. There's an argument to make, a very small argument, but the argument's there. And could Tyreek Hill be as good as Jamar Chase? You could definitely argue that. I wouldn't draft it that way, but you could argue it. So that trade is a brilliant get rid of Jamar Chase for Tyreek Hill and Monty. That would be a perfect trade. So on the flip side of that, yes, I would want something else.
Right. What about the kid that has Chase? He's been rolling with Geno, and I know he likes Mahomes. Would you give up Hill and Mahomes to get Chase? I have Hurts at quarterback.
Yes, I would. That is a very, very overpay sidestep lateral, almost like a lateral move to get into a safer player. Yeah, you're giving up a lot that helps him more than it helps you in a way, but it doesn't matter because your team gets better and safer.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right, awesome. Appreciate it.
Real quickly before you drop, Sick Nasty on the line. What's up, my guy?
Hey, man. I had a couple trade offers come in today. I just kind of want to see if you can help me make sense of them.
Yeah, can I get? Let me get these super chats off the board real quick, if you guys don't mind, real quick. That way I can pay you more attention. EA Goats for the $20 hauler says, thanks to you, Smitty, traded Swift and Dell for Nico and Pollard to the 4-3 team. I like Nico and Pollard a lot more, and then I would flip Pollard if I can. So you got Bijan, Gibbs, JT, very good team. Allen, wow. Neighbors, Nico, Hopkins, you're solid. Amari, maybe like an Amari or a Pittman or one of the tight ends. Hawkinson, I'm not like super excited about. I still like Kincaid a lot, so I don't know if you can maybe flip like Pollard and maybe a Amari with Hopkins, or I'm sorry, with Hawkinson to get like that doubted DK Metcalf injured right now type player, to get that potential Achane now. Like, Achane's so cheap in some circles, it's crazy. Your team's very good. You don't even need to make a move, but I love the squad. Kyron straight up or JJ? I think I'm going to stick to my guns here and say that this man Kyron is in 7 games scored 10 touchdowns. He has no game this year without 1 touchdown at least. He's got 1 3D touchdown game, or 3D. He scored touchdowns in 3D. He has 1 3 TD touchdown game, 1 2 TD touchdown game, and a touchdown in every single game. He has 10 touchdowns already. Double-digit touchdowns in 7 played games. If I told you, hey, Kyron's season's about to kick off here, I'll give you, let's say, 12 touchdowns on the year, guaranteed, or an unknown amount, and he could get hurt, and I can't guarantee you a thing. A lot of people would say, give me the 12. Give me this. This guy's 10 touchdowns. He's only played 7 games, and his bye week's out of the way. I love JJ, but if I'm drafting now, Kyron goes inside my top 3 or 4 overall. Maybe top 2, maybe 1. It depends how I'm feeling. Depends which way the wind's blowing. Grab Dalvin Cook off waivers, upgrade to starter. I don't know how this is going to go, guys. I'm not suggesting we don't pick him up. I'm not saying we don't put him on the waiver wire board, which we will. But this is a guy we weren't even picking up until this news broke for a reason. And he already got a shot in New York, and he fell flat on his face. He looked very, very bad. He's been out of football for a long time. You don't just pop back in unless you're Kareem Hunt. But Kareem Hunt is proving that there's a shot that this turns out okay, but this is Dallas. This is not KC. KC's running the ball well. KC's got a game script and a defense that sets up the run to do well. And I just don't know. Even Juju doing well. Hopkins is set up to do well. People rip on KC and Mahomes, but they're playing amazing football across the board in KC. That's why they're 6-0. You know, people that like to hate on that situation, they're 6-0. Dallas can't run the ball for anything. And do I think that Dalvin Cook's better than Dowdle? I Dowdle that. And I don't even like Dowdle. So I'm going to say, depends on your situation, John. But is he worth grabbing? Maybe. But is there a chance he does absolutely 0? Yes. There's a really high likelihood of that. KCM, appreciate. Keep in mind, Zeke's like, I don't know why I'm not playing. There's a mess over there at the running back, from the running back perspective. But I do think that they're going to throw a lot. It's going to be a lot of CD Lamb. Flex 2, full PPR. Bateman, Pearsall, Worthy. Irving, I'm going to go Pearsall and Worthy this week. If let's say, I mean, if Debo doesn't play, Pearsall for sure, even though I think the efficiency could be lower. And he'll get, he'll get better defensive coverage, tougher defensive coverage. Bateman's interesting, but I don't know. They rotate so much over there. Bateman's going to get you 2 points next week. Is probably the way that's going to go. Pearsall and Worthy for me. Bucky Irving probably is even a little safer than Bateman, in my opinion. And then Ryan here. What's up, Smitty? Thoughts on trading Saquon for Lamb and Swift? Running backs would be Achane and Swift. Lamb, St. Brown, neighbors. Oh, it's interesting, bro. It depends how you feel about Swift. I'm not big on Swift right now going forward. I realize I've been wrong about him this year. I acknowledge that. He's got a good matchup, a good schedule. I guess I would say, looking at your team, though, I don't know that you need to do it. If you needed to get a receiver, it would make some sense to me, but why not just keep Barkley, who has the bye week, out of the way? You got Neighbors and St. Brown at wide receiver. You got Barkley and Achane at running back. You've got tremendous balance. If something happened to Tua again, you'd have just Swift and then worrying about Achane all the time. I don't think that's enough for me. Swift is good, but with the problems in Dallas that make Lamb a cheap buy low and make that an attractive buy low candidate for sure. That's why we love Lamb as a buy low. That concern that is baked into his values, not necessarily baked into this trade. So I'm going to say, don't trade Barkley. And then the last super chat, then over to Sick Nasty. Start Dell, Monty, or at flex. I'm going Monty. Easy question, bro. Monty's got volume. He's going to always be a touchdown threat, no doubt about it. And I'm sorry I lied. Here's one more. Sick Nasty, load your question up in 1 second. Let me just answer this real quick, and then we're good to go. This one here is from Life. Appreciate you. Should I offer Kincaid for Braylon Allen? Your Brees owner. I would say no. I still believe in Kincaid enough. You're 1-6. Maybe he's going to be a difference maker for you. I like Braylon Allen a lot. I'm not saying don't go after him, but he's a drop candidate for a lot of people right now who are scrambling for different pieces of their lineup. And I don't know that I'm trading a guy that I still believe could be a top 5 tight end if things start unfolding properly for him. And keep in mind, Cooper might change everything in the balance of the offense and get Kincaid back into good positioning to score and produce. All right, go ahead, Sig Nasty. What are the 2 trades?
All right. It's kind of like it's 2 different versions of the same trade. Me and Travis talked about it a little bit earlier. It's for Garrett Wilson. It's in a 1 quarterback dynasty league.
All right. What's the question?
All right. So I got Garrett Wilson, and he's wanting me to give up Garrett Wilson, a 2025 fifth, a 2026 fifth. And in return, I would get back Bucky Irving, Adam Thielen, a 2026 second, a 2025 third, another 2025 third, and a 2025 first.
So 1 first, a second, a third. And then on the other side, it's Garrett Wilson, 25 fifth round. There's no first rounders over here. There's 5th rounder and 5th rounder, right?
Correct.
So those are rookie picks?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to erase those because I really don't care about those too much. They don't even do anything to the trade. So 1st, 2nd, 3rds are they're something, but I mean, where's the 1st rounder at? Roughly, you think?
First rounder is going to be somewhere probably between 7 and 12.
Yeah, I'm taking Garrett Wilson. That's not doing it for me.
Right. That's what me and Travis were. We came to the conclusion earlier that it probably wasn't good enough.
No,
worth it.
Not even close, really, man. Unless I'm getting like a top 5 pick, and even then it's hard because Garrett Wilson's still very young and has a lot of upside, and who the hell knows what happens. But it's not even close. Yeah.
Right.
On Bucky, what do you see his ceiling as, like in Dynasty? Do you ever see him being a top 10 guy, or more of like a good RB2 if he gets a chance?
I think
that's where I'm stuck. I have trouble valuing him.
Yeah, I think given Bucky's not climbing out of the starter role like very easily because of the injuries now to the receiving room, he doesn't enter next year like entrenched or anything. And I think that you've got to trade for him or look at him like a prospect, not some sort of lock on any level. Like he's a throw-in right now in a dynasty trade until he gets a hold of the job. Like he would be no different than Braylon Allen, like a very good prospect, but not locked into anything because of the situation. So I would not value him much at all in this trade. I would love to put him into a trade and get him on the upside and spec of something happening, but this is a first and 2nd rounder for Garrett Wilson, and I'm going to say no.
Yeah. See, I was thinking the same thing. Bucky Irving, I'd like to get him in a trade, but every time, like, this is what happens every time I try to send an offer for, like, a player like Bucky Irving. They counter with some big, huge trade back where I'm giving up one of my best players in order to get the one dude that I want. So, me and Travis the way Travis explained it earlier is he felt like I was giving up a racehorse for ponies and a draft lottery ticket.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not a good trade. I mean, Adams is old, so Adams doesn't concern me dynasty-wise at all. So Garrett Wilson's a wide receiver one.
I'm rebuilding in the dynasty, but I'm not desperate. You know, I'm only like 1 or 2 players away from rebuilding. So.
Yeah. All right, next question.
That's pretty much it. Because I mean, like I said, it was two versions of the same trade. So I just went and gave you the one that had the most pieces in it.
Easy call. All right, boys. Anything else?
All right. No, man. Thanks, bro.
All right, man. Appreciate you.
I'm good.
Good to hear from you. All right, Travis. We'll see you later, bro. All right. Last caller. See you later. Steven, you got 30.
What's up, Smitty? Hey, so I got a question. Realistically, what would you trade for Brock Bowers? I've got Evan Ingram, but I've got somebody that's willing to trade me Brock Bowers, and he's either asking for like Puka, MHJ, or potentially Hopkins. Obviously, DeAndre Hopkins would be the best, but yeah, for Bowers. But I mean, because that's definitely going to be an upgrade from Ingram for sure, I would think, right?
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, Ingram was crazy good last year, bro. You know, I don't think it's a lock by any means, but I do think you know, he's getting kind of back in the saddle a little bit. But I would say I want Bowers for sure. Like, would I do a Hopkins? This is redraft, I assume. Would I do this package for Bowers? Sure, no doubt about it. If it was Dynasty, I'd hit, yeah, of course. But am I giving up Puka Nacua when you've got Ingram already? What the hell are we talking about, bro? Hell no.
Yeah, I told him I wouldn't trade him or even MHJ. I think MHJ is going to come back around.
Yeah, am I throwing in MHJ?
What about Worthy?
No.
Worthy straight up for Bowers.
I mean, bro, what did Ingram do last week?
I think I know that week before that he did good.
Yeah, hold on, let me pull him up.
Yeah, he had 8.5 points. I mean, but he's 15 for 15 in his last 2 games, you know?
Yeah.
He went 18.2 and then 8.5.
Bro, he's catching every single target, every single target he's getting thrown his way. He's catching 102 yards 2 weeks ago, 35 yards on 5 receptions. You've got turmoil over in LV. I like Bowers, but is there going to be ups and downs? Yeah. Is it worth giving up Worthy? I say no. Hopkins, sure. And even that, like, what if Hopkins is better than Worthy? And I'm saying hell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, you know what? I love this in Dynasty.
And I got Hunter Henry, too.
As much as I love this, let me just see something real quickly.
Because it worries me on the Raiders' quarterback play.
Yeah. God, Bowers is so good, though. I do this for Bowers. You know? If you want to do Worthy and Ingram for Bowers, I'm fine with that too. But don't give him MSJ. You're giving him away for free, and certainly do not give up Puka Nacua. But would I do Worthy or Hopkins? His choice. The number one wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes, and Ingram, sure. Bowers' targets are just crazy. I mean, it's back-to-back 10-plus targets in 3 straight games. But yeah, the quarterback room is garbage. They seem to just target him, though. They got like design plays for him and such. I mean, it's just green across the board. Dell, yeah, I mean, I'd do any one of those. You want to get Bowers on your team, those are fine. But final answer, no MHJ, no Puka. All right, bro.
Yeah, all right, appreciate it.
Yeah, you got to keep in mind when you got an Ingram, you're not hurting. You're not hurting for a tight end. Don, appreciate you. Do I fire up Reed or Waddle if Tyreek doesn't play? I still play Reed over Waddle until Waddle, even with Tua back, until Waddle proves himself. Reed is still a top 12 potential wide receiver, in my view. I'll probably be back tonight, and I actually want to do a Dynasty show too, but we'll see what happens. Appreciate every single one of you. Underdog. Promo code Smitty. I'm going to drop that link in the live chat right now. Guys, do the hires and lowers. Draft a week 18 right now. Even if you're crushing it, I just dropped the link in the live chat. I'm going to pin it. Well, actually, I'll keep the other link. Yeah, that link is pinned already. Hit that link. I'll drop it one more time. Play an underdog draft, a higher, a lower. Get extra skin in the game for week number 8, even if you're doing good. But if you're doing bad, draft over again. You know, get a new outlook, a new team, start over. It's not, don't pack it in. Do an underdog week 8 draft. Do an underdog week 9 draft. Do an underdog week 10 draft. Smitty, pick one to start at wide receiver 2, Pickens or Dell or BT. BT. Easy call. If Debo doesn't start, do I also drop one of these guys for Pearsall? Drop who? No, I'm not. Even Dell, I'm not dropping Dell in that situation. I know other people would, but I'm not. Kincaid or Hunter Henry? Probably this week Hunter Henry, but I'm not dropping Kincaid if that's going to be your next question. But, I mean, right now Hunter Henry's the go-to guy for May. I like that. See you all tonight. Appreciate all you super chatters, and make sure you hit that and subscribe. We're nearing 31.1K. Appreciate you all. I'll see you all tonight, potentially, but definitely tomorrow. But probably. Oh no, tonight's Friday. I was thinking tonight was Thursday for some reason. We're definitely back tonight, later on the Graveyard Show. We'll be back tonight. See you tonight. Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Also live additionally, whenever news breaks, be live tonight around midnight-ish for a Graveyard stream.
Breaking news, Carson Steele released from captivity after Lionheart sightings continued. Even while Steele was detained, they had the wrong man. Puka Nacua appears to be the Lionheart.
I am him. When times get tough, they call on a beast. That beast rises up and starts to feast. Puka Nacua will sharpen and do his part, because he the beast is the Lionheart. He is the Lionheart. He is the Lionheart. He is the Lionheart.
Breece Hall is 8 foot tall. He will always answer the mother freaking call. Don't let him fall. In the third, don't stall. Just give Batman the freaking football.
He's Breece. He's Breece.
He does a whole of a job. A whole of a job. A whole of a job.
Breece Hall, please report to the moon.
He does a jale ba yo.
He's Kyron, he's 7 feet tall, and he knows how to handle a ball. He's Kyron, he can take frowns and turn them upside down with his touchdowns.
But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs' workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt, things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 running back instead of top 6 to 10. Also, guys, vote for Outsiders who dropped a super chat a minute ago. Thank you, DeBolt, for yours. Vote MHJ or DeAndre Swift this week. I told him Swift is safer until MHJ shows out. I hope I'm wrong because I do want MHJ to ball. But please vote for Outsiders, MHJ or Swift. See you all tonight.